Hey, everybody, this is Munson Steve. You know, when you talk about moving through the community, being a soldier, representing what change looks like, Black with No Chaser is a place to look and to see. My dear brother, what's going on? And can you give people a vision of what Black history should really mean to them each and every day?
So, man, first of all, I want to just thank you and Rolling Out for having me on. On behalf of Black Episode Chaser and the whole tribe, man. All 500,000 plus people out there, we do appreciate you for like giving space. I will say a lot of times you don't see media companies show love to each other. A lot of times, it's like, oh, well, we got to fight for this space when it's literally endless space out there for media, like infinite. But yeah, we will go around and like, I don't understand why we don't do more of this. But I do appreciate you for having me on. But to the question about Black history, and was it more about what BWNC is the Black history, or just Black history in general?
Well, I always think that it's about your example. I'm definitely never a generalization because you're a subject expert. You're on the front line. There was no January 6th without you. There was no movement, and we need to acknowledge that. So no, never a generalization from me, brother over here. I'm talking about a real soldier who's and you've got a movement, and many people don't understand having a movement and what it is to have a movement. Definitely for the next generation.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that like where Black with No Chaser stands, not just in relation to January 6th, but now in perpetuity, is Black with No Chaser is a state of being. It's a state of mind. You know what I mean? Like when you talk about you Black with No Chaser, you ain't got to work with Black with No Chaser. You don't have to follow Black with No Chaser. But if you're a Black person and you live in Black and thinking Black, then you are in fact Black with No Chaser. And where we try to like situate ourselves is really somewhere in the middle of it all, and not trying to overshadow anyone, not trying to like cast ourselves to the side to like allow somebody. We are literally trying to like build community wherever we see fit, and outside of Black History Month, for us is Black History 365, as I'm sure it is over there rolling out. And so for us is really trying to reimagine not only media too, though, right? We want to make sure Black folks have a stake in this. Especially from an economic standpoint. We talk about NFTs and crypto and Bitcoin, all these things that's floating around there and what it means to be in a metaverse. Every single day we wake up thinking about what does it mean for not only Black with No Chaser to be in a metaverse, but more importantly, though, what does it mean for Black people to operate in a metaverse, right? We talk about infinite spaces where they're trying to make it more finite every single day that we wake up. And so we got to figure out and be creative and have some ingenuity around how we think around media, how we think around tech. And so, man, when it comes to garnering partnerships with Black banks and fintech, to operate in the metaverse, to thinking around apps that we're going to be creating for the near future, when we think about Black with No Chaser, we think about the future of all Black people in this country and really globally as well.
Yeah, if you take that apart and you had to set goals for the Black community for 2022, what would be the 3 priorities you think we really need to collectively think Black about?
Man, politics. I think that honestly, policy and the way policy is moving towards tech. I think that if you're not watching what's happening with the executive branch when it comes down to cryptocurrency in this country and how the Biden administration has named it a thing of national security interest. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, doesn't mean it's a good thing, but the fact that there's some type of policy agenda or developing policy agenda, not only happening in the executive branch, but also happening at a federal congressional level, but more importantly, though, what's happening on a local level. Look at Miami-Dade County right now. A friend of mine, John Beaudre, is the crypto czar, the crypto chairman at Miami-Dade. Miami-Dade is about to usher in and be the first county in this country to make Bitcoin and cryptocurrency accepted widely throughout the actual county. That's huge, right? And we're talking about grassroots things happening. Looking at Wyoming. Wyoming right now is setting up to be literally the crypto universe of the United States. The Republican member, Senator Loomis, is a white woman right now talking about how she's trying to make Wyoming become the crypto land of all like things crypto, right? NFTs, you name it. I just got off the phone with somebody last week, this other company that's setting up real estate on how government actually records real estate transactions in this country to make it more verifiable, more private, and more equitable across the wind. So now you can't just steal land from Black folks. Imagine there's no more paper deeds you can burn up because it's protected by the blockchain. I'm only speaking about this very passionately because sometimes I think that before the iPhone came out, before there's the internet, before it's everything, right? There's a lot of us that sat around and said, no way the internet is going to be a thing. And now, boom, we in Web 3.0. And so I want us to think about this, and as we move forward, what's next on the Black agenda? It's on the minds of everybody, but more importantly, it's the first time in a long time where Black people can get in on the front line of something. And I would encourage anybody, if you got $1 to spare, invest in it. Invest, let it sit, right? And so that's number one. Number one is educating yourself on what it means to operate in the metaverse and cryptocurrency. So that's number one. Number two, from a voting standpoint, we got to be very vigilant, very, very vigilant, local, state, especially federal elections. Voting is the most sacred thing you can be an American, to be an American in this country, but also understanding the history around how Black people have fought for voting rights and still fighting with voting rights in this country. You see what's happening in states like Texas and in Georgia and Alabama, Pennsylvania. I mean, you name it, right? There's been hundreds of voter suppressive laws that's being enacted right now in this country, even in quote unquote progressive states. And so I think that Black people got to remain vigilant and have a plan on how you're going to vote in the midterms of 2022 and beyond. And lastly, because I haven't even thought about these things, but now we're talking about it, I would say, and I know we talked about this before, for me, as a millennial, when I look at student loan debt, that gotta be canceled. And I mean, I know it's not everybody's agenda, but I'm gonna just say that for all the millennials out there and everybody coming behind me, we gotta figure out a way to get this actual debt going. Why? And I know that a lot of people understand that they hear about student loan debt being debt that's okay. It's okay. But I'm telling you right now, if somebody has $200,000 of student loan debt because of law school, if I could take it back right now, I would. Because I'm trying to equate what I make yearly versus the return on investment of $280,000. And there has to be a reimagining of what it means to have economic mobility in this country for Black people. So across the board, policy, economic mobility, metaverse, Web 3.0, crypto, all of those things should be at the top of the list for Black folks and Black communities around this country, and quite frankly, throughout the world.
Okay, so we've got all that for the millennials, like the crypto, but for those who don't understand crypto or blockchain at all, and they want to get involved with investing and then figuring out how to show up so that they can actually sell a product or service online, get a wallet so you can collect your money. What would you suggest kind of like first steps? Because many people don't understand, and there's an education, and I think we're present. I'm not sure we have our own infrastructure. I think that's a big thing, at least for most of the people I know that are in crypto. So I know figuring that out is an issue. But what do you recommend for those who are watching this right now and say, he's really passionate about crypto? How can I get in, and kind of what kind of investment should I start with?
Yeah, I would say, after you get your wallet and you set up your Meta wallet, one thing, YouTube University is a beautiful thing. A lot of folks, you just type in a few words, type of cryptocurrency, type of crypto 101, type of crypto for beginners, crypto for dummies. I don't know, right? But I would say is I would start there. But even if you didn't want to learn what that is, right? There's more passive ways of doing this. Cash App right now. You can go on Cash App right now and just directly invest into Bitcoin right this very second. And again, remember I told you, just imagine the first time you heard about Bitcoin, which is, let's say, even though it was back in the 90s, a long time ago, But let's say when it first hit on the scene more globally around 2012, 11, what if since then you've been investing $20 a month? So what I would, but let's say now though, right? It's anticipated that by 2020, what, 4, 5, or 6, that Bitcoin is not only going to be at 60,000 per Bitcoin, but I'm talking about $100,000 per Bitcoin or more, right? So imagine, but between now, if you invested whatever you like, whatever you dump into it, whatever you can afford, you don't even need to know anything about Bitcoin. You could just go, I got $5 extra a month that I'm not going to go out and spend at the club, that I'm not going to actually do whatever with, right? And then taking that money and saying, I'm going to put it and set aside and actually just let it do its thing. Every month, recurring payments. You could do $5 a month. What I'm trying to say is that even if it's $1 a month, it's one more dollar that compounds interest over time that you will never have in a savings account. You will definitely not have in a checking account, and you will definitely not have it if you're spending it and not reallocating your funds. And I'm just speaking from somebody that's a very still novice level investor, right? I'm not some sophisticated, I don't have 200 millions of dollars in investments, but what I do have is the energy and understanding that I need to change the way I move personally. And then from there, though, the responsibility is that the knowledge that I do begin to acquire, that I share it. As an advocate, as a lawyer, as somebody that gives a damn about Black people and Black communities, I just think that it is important that no matter where you're at in this kind of space, whatever knowledge you're acquiring, you should be laterally looking out to the person left and right of you and try to share and encourage and empower people to invest as much as humanly possible. But they got folks like the Wall Street Trapper. You got people that got brothers that spent time in the pen that came out in millionaires now, right? And in Wall Street Trapper, what I love about him is that he's not a get rich quick kind of brother. I listen to him all the time. One thing he talks about is doing your research. Before you invest in anything, do your research. And then find ways in multiple avenues in which you can actually gain the knowledge. But YouTube University, Google, find out what the top IG accounts are, the top Twitter accounts are, the top Discord accounts are. Find it, go in it, and whatever knowledge you can acquire, and then use that to your advantage. I mean, honestly, like, I'm doing this, I'm telling you this, I'm saying this because I'm doing it. I don't have anybody in my back pocket. I don't have a financial advisor or anything like that. You're talking about somebody that's building something from scratch, that's learning on my own. And I think that if I'm smart enough to do it, I think anybody out there who is just trying to get into the game, you don't need to be no $1 million person to say, I'm going to take $5 a month. And then by the end of this year, you got maybe $100 or $200. And then the more you start to figure it out and you see gains happening, then maybe you might invest a little more, but it's going to take some money to make some money. And I would say that whatever you got in your piggy bank, go ahead and invest it in something. Oh, and last thing I will say, Google is about to split its stocks right now. And in June, they're going to split it. It's going to be a 20-1. I would definitely try to figure out a way you can grab as many of that as humanly possible. Here's the flip side. If you don't get 20 shares of the stock, when they do the reverse, you may be hurt. So for anybody who can get the 20 shares up the split to 20, I would make sure I can get 20. So in the reverse, when it goes, instead of going 1 to 20, it's 20-1, then you still good on the back end. That's what I would say. I've been focused so much on finances, man, since the last time we spoke. And I just let me just say this. Me and Muncie had a conversation last year around the same time. And he struck me with some information about, he was like, young man, we need to think about economic mobility. And when we had that conversation, it was just me and you, just like this, talking right now. And I was like, that was one of those, like, I think, pivotal conversations that I had in the year, early on in the year, that kind of got the gears and juices moving and flowing in the right direction of where I needed to go and what I need, how I need to start educating myself so that the people around me, I can be doing the work for my people laterally who weren't in the game. And then more importantly, though, reaching up to people that have been in the game and going, hey, look, humble pie here. I don't know anything, brother. I don't know anything, sister. I'm trying to get in the game. Can you help me? I think part of it sometimes too is that, we don't want to ask for help. And sometimes you got to ask for help. And I learned that this year, that asking for help will literally pay dividends, literally pay dividends if you just, reach out and touch somebody.
Right. I've got a couple things with that. I think there's some basics. I mean, I do believe we should invest in companies that we consume. So if you consume Nike, and if you just go back 2 years ago, it was at $90. $90. Now, these are just facts. These aren't conversations. This ain't crypto. These are just facts.
Yep.
I think the thing that you're sharing, and I think there are financial principles. And more than anything, when I'm talking and sharing out of love and respect for my community, is basic principles. Savings and sacrifice. The two S's, savings and sacrifice, are everything in economics because it's how you get ahead. Savings and sacrifice. So the value, even for people who are spiritual, who are fasting, is that they're saving their money at the same time. They're not consuming food. They're able to meditate. They're able to study. They're able to enrich their soul because they are sacrificing both what the world is offering them materially, that their body could be overeating, overproducing, and they're not even feeling the pain of people without because they choose not to take a moment to feel what the poor feel, to feel what those individuals who aren't fed feel, to understand that the body needs a moment to pause. So savings and sacrifice. But if you consume like a Nike and you believe in the brand, then you got to believe that they're running their company much better than you can run yours, and that they too believe in a return. And then we can ask them for something as a community. And then we can attend more shareholder meetings so they can look forward to seeing Black with No Tracer at their board meeting. So we say, we love that you have it, but we need some Jordan scholars. And then we need to figure out how with each Jordan you round up and literally remove our debt as a community, given our consumption of said product. And then you do launch a shoe with all Black designers and make different demands so that it's not only the Jordan, but it's the Black Jordan that Black people can buy. That is very clear that the consumption, because you're a shareholder, you're doing that. And then every child that has a Nike, pair of Nikes in their closet should have at least 2 shares of Nike in their savings so that they can see the correlation and also believe that they too can own a company like Nike. So I think the savings and sacrifice is really key. I think the idea of being a part of innovation is why I encourage people to participate in crypto. Like, be a part of the evolution of the economy, the expansion of economy. I think far too many people don't consider the expansion of the economy. They have no clue what that means. The expansion of, yes, you get more money today. Yes, because the economy has expanded. You have more people in the marketplace. You've got more people coming in this country making American dollars where they were not making American dollars, expanding the economy. So you sit back and they say they just put trillions of dollars in the economy. Were they saved? Did you pay off debt? Did you increase your credit score during that moment? Did you sacrifice and did you save so that you can be in position to participate in the metaverse because you're focused and you're on it? So I love what you're saying about it. I just want our community to understand that even when you're saying $5, sometimes you just go ahead and say, I'm saving, and you set an annual goal. Like, why start your year without an annual savings goal? You can't achieve a goal that you can't see and set in advance. That way you can set your benchmark. So I love what you're saying. And it's like $5, but I'd rather say, you know what? I gave up 50 lunches and I paid $10 a lunch. That's $500. That's the beginning. And then I think that that's the beauty of sharing. What you said about learning and sharing. Reaching out for help is also the way African Americans and Blacks have been able to expand our own universes because we're each one teach one. Each one shares so that you don't have to fear. We don't have to believe. No, you can actually look and watch and see, put in Nike, 52-week high, 52-week low, and it'll come out. Those are facts. And I think splits, most people don't understand splits. But after split, and it came out at 99. It's not at 99 anymore. But it's split at 99. So I think the thing that we're saying and the thing that you're saying, there's a value for investing and there's a value for participation. This economy punishes you if you're not participating in it. At the end of the day, if you're not stimulating this economy, it's pure punishment. Because they're like, well, then what are you doing with your money? You buying a new purse? That's what it is. No.
Right.
You don't have, and our forefathers always said, it's the land. They took two things, the vote and the land. And we gotta own the land because land and time go together. If you get in at 30 and you have a 30-year mortgage, at 60, you don't have to worry about doing a reverse mortgage and not having a place to stay because it's paid for. And then hopefully you reduce it to 15 and actually bought another piece and stimulate wealth and legacy. But I think what I'm sharing with you as we're talking about it is just for us to understand we gotta own the land too. We've got it. What we see happening in DC is because we are not buying the land. I was hanging out with D Smoke and we were talking and he said, well, houses are $1 million in LA. I said, houses have been $1 million and they're gonna be $3 million in LA.
That's right.
Make you move to Riverside if you ain't got it. You can't be in the paint, in the money, where you can actually lease your house and go over with friends for 2 or 3 nights during a big moment and do Airbnb. But it's the consciousness of entrepreneurship is Black no chaser. That's part of our DNA, being entrepreneurs, being innovators, sacrificing. So I love it.
Yeah, man, what's funny is like at the beginning of the year, you usually got to do a dry January. It's funny you talk about sacrifice and saving. Over the course of January, I was like, you look back and you be like, man, I saved so much money by just not picking up any alcohol, right? Even wine or beer, whatever it is, right? And I said, well, I'm about to start carrying this throughout February. And I've been on now granted, February ain't been as dry as January, but now it's instead of, well, maybe saying, because I used to always make an excuse, DC is one of them cities where you can always make an excuse for like a happy hour or a reception or something's going on. But I was like, nah, I'm gonna start treating my body right. And I'm gonna get back into working out. I'm gonna make a sacrifice. And I think by making that sacrifice, I was able to save. And from able to save, I was able to invest more. And so it's really a ripple effect on, and I love the way you put it, like sacrificing and saving. And from saving, you get to do things with your money and build some generational wealth and actually be able to understand and play and participate in the economy. And I think that, for me, I was being too much of a consumer. And I was being what really America has made all people that don't own businesses, which is assets. People are assets. That's why when people need to understand, when Citizens United was made into law by way of the Supreme Court of the United States and made corporations human beings, similarly situated. In fact, in America, businesses are human beings, people are assets to the United States. They make budgets based upon what? Human beings, not businesses. And so, I would say anybody out there, if you don't have an LLC or a corporation or some type of formed entity within the jurisdiction of the United States, you need to do so. I tell all my friends right now, you cannot participate in this economy if you do not have a business. I said, you are literally not being able to raise your bottom line by not having a business. And so we should be turning all ourselves into businesses. Your name should be a business. Right now, if your name is not in a domain or you have a domain or something where there are things tangible you can actually physically put your hands on or make money from, I think that it's a mistake. And I know that, I'm speaking probably from a place of privilege of having an opportunity, but once upon a time, no, I wasn't in this place. And once upon a time, I had to make a sacrifice and I had to say, you know what, though, it costs $225 to form a business in DC. And so goes my sacrifice on being able to participate in the economy, because I always had a thought in my mind that I didn't want a boss anymore. I wanted to participate in the economy in America, in which by way it really was made to work. And so, for me and for everybody out there in Black History Month and beyond Black History Month and every corner of the United States and Black communities everywhere, is we gotta be participants and less consumers, and we gotta own our businesses. And it don't matter if your business makes 2,000 a year, have your business set up. Because because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be an opportunity where somebody's gonna be presented, and they're gonna say, "Well, what's your business?" And you're gonna miss an opportunity because all they needed was just a minority business owner to attach to their business. I know a brother right now makes 10K a month from airport contracts because they just needed a placeholder for somebody of a minority owned business to be a part of that contract. Now imagine one day you sit next to somebody in the airport and they ask you if you got a business, and then you turn around and make 10K passively a month off what? Being a part of that deal. So and from that alone, to me, I will continuously pay my biannual fee for having a business in DC and wherever else me a business at. And so that would be my one take from that, as well as, get your business, get it.
Right, I'd say get your business and get you a piece of real estate, even if it's an empty block.
Hey, look, Baltimore. I mean, there's places right now. You go to Mississippi right now. I'm gonna tell you right now too. That's nothing. Policy, and this is why there's two things you should be following policy wise. Crypto, the idea of what does it mean to operate in the metaverse and everything happening there. And the last piece is cannabis. Looking at cannabis now, folks that got the land, your land, especially in rural areas, right? People are like, I don't want to live in the country. I don't want to buy no land in the country. A friend of mine told me, hey, Rillo, I got 256 acres right now in the country, and I'm just waiting for cannabis to become legalized everywhere. And he said, and guess what? And guess what they're going to be calling to grow on my land? And to your point, as time moves on, so goes policy. Things are going to be happening. And so, man, look, my mind is set on exactly where I'm getting land in real life, land in the metaverse, whatever it costs, and expanding the economy, financial literacy. That's where I'm moving, man. Muncie, I'll tell you, it cannot be overstated on the way have been feeling about our conversation since February of last year. It's been like, literally, I was like, damn, man, this is a great conversation. I'm glad me and Munson have been in contact, man, because it's literally full circle right now. It's a beautiful moment to have with you, because it really was one of them. I just want to tell you that. Thank you. You know what I mean? For being up front and like holding this space for brothers like me.
Well, no, I thank you, brother, because it's at the end of the day, it's all about energy for me. You gotta have a community of energy exchanges. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of young brothers that are making a difference, young brothers that are pushing. So if I can't highlight every year a story that you're doing, if I can't highlight something you're doing, then I'm not doing my job. And I make money actually writing about my people. So then why not write about my people? Because that's a win for me. Be able to pivot, to have the conversation, the energy exchange, and then motivation for intergenerational conversation, which is what I appreciate. The excitement about crypto, you're thinking about a stock split, all of us thinking about that, figuring out how to own a $2 block, how to be able to buy some empty lot, and understanding that what we don't buy, somebody else is going to. What we see is unvaluable. What was a bluff in any urban city will not be a bluff in 5 more, 6 more years. Baltimore's that port is going to open up, because ports are more important than they've ever been before. That will be a continued push in every single city. They're gonna have to figure that out, because everybody's not gonna be move trucks. They're gonna be able to move in those ports, and you wanna move. I think that's the other thing. Our community has to figure out how to migrate. It doesn't mean it. You migrate to your land in the country. It's not a permanent mindset. You can't see metaverse and not see the country as a place that is a resource. Don't look at locations as anything but resources in your mind. If you've never been to Wyoming, after hearing Black No Chasers say something's happening there, then go visit. Go make a new friend. so that these locations, all of our forefathers, when they're on them trains, they weren't just on the trains as porters, they were on the train listening and learning what was going on in industry across the community so they could share and take the dollars, the tips, and everything that they made and buy homes, buy mansions, because they were participating and understood that wealth is created by those who work for it, earn it, and invest it.
That's it. I mean, that's literally it. And like I'm telling you, every single day, there's a couple of things I do. One, I do my own like reading, like whatever it is, and then the next thing I do now is anything towards financial literacy, and it could be 2 pages worth going towards my own financial literacy. But there's something about thin slicing and being able to go, you know what though, like 1 is better than none. 2 is better than nothing. And then so being able to appreciate the fact that I'm investing my time into something I feel like is going to benefit me. And anybody's gonna be watching this, like, never underestimate the power of 1 page. 1 page has information on that change your life. It could be a quote. It could be a link in the website that you actually browsing. I was speaking to a brother the other day. We were talking about he's over one of the branches in DC library and getting more of us and more people generally in the libraries. And and what I said to him, we had a long, about an hour and a half conversation about how that could look. And I said, on a library standpoint, I said, I look at the library like an artist. When an artist, a rapper, a singer, wherever, when they come out, there's this relationship with the listeners that you have. And I say one thing that the libraries across America have not done is have this kind of entanglement with the communities that they serve. And I think that they're just there as these like kind of like permanent fixtures where it's almost like a passive kind of relationship with communities. And I was like, how do we develop a more active relationship, a more entanglement that people will then want to see the benefit of going to the library, seeing the resources there, where it's not just books anymore. DC Library, literally, I'm only saying this because I was blown away. They had on the bottom floor trainings to put together 3D images and all this stuff on graphic design, and like people that want to come up in this world. I'm like, if I was a kid and I knew there was somebody there giving out free classes on graphic design on the bottom floor at DC Library, I would probably go take that. But again, and that's also depending on time and being in space. But I would just say that, like, from a resource standpoint, I think the resource out there for us. I think for us, it's just about tapping into it. I think it's having these conversations. I think sometimes these conversations aren't as sexy as like talking about some designer this or somebody that came out with that or some new local club that was out over there. But we got to be able to normalize these conversations amongst each other to a point where like it's like breathing air. I think that man, I had amazing time. My boys told me, he said he was talking to these kids and he asked them how much they make. And the teacher went, don't ask him how much he makes. That's rude. And he said, hold on. Teacher moment right here for everybody. He said, I make X amount of dollars, y'all. And I'm a lobbyist. And this is what I make. I want y'all to know how much I make. I want you to know what it takes to get here. There is no more taboo. We are literally pulling the wool off each other's eyes as we speak. And this is happening in real time. And so I think part of it is we got to get, because the reason why they said don't ask about people pay, because they don't want to pay you more. The more we research and we find out how much people get paid, so goes the actual valuation of somebody beneath me coming into the game. Because I know $1 today ain't worth $1 tomorrow, so therefore you got to pay me more. I'm coming behind this person. So you offered me $100,000 a month ago? Well, that's 110 now. It's got to be 110. I'm behind the game. And so it's a leveraging tool when we understand what is the valuation for somebody that's operating in space. And to me, for what me and my friends do, we talk about what we make. It don't matter if you make more than me, less than me, but at the end of the day, we go, hey yo, this year I'm making money like this, and this. this is my goal. This is the actual goals I'm gonna have for this way I'm making money. Here's the way I'm making money for it this way. And then, so then we understand roadmaps. How do we get to these places? They don't just seem like this fairy fit in a far, far away land. I can go, oh, this has got to do A, B, C, and that gets to D. Got it. And I think that like there has to be more of that though. I think that we just kind of closely hold to us what we make, and we got to start have real conversations with our young people about what we make and what it takes to get to this level. And otherwise, they're gonna always be looking at like, damn man, I gotta be doing this to get to there, and they're gonna be running all over the place. We gotta streamline. I think part of what you do and what I want to do is streamline where I got. I don't want people to have bad credit, then to get good credit, then to have bad credit again, to make more mistakes. We got to stop that. We got to stop that. And I think part of it is just sharing with people our stories, what we make, how we get in there, and let people decide on their own and stop hiding the ball from our people. We got to be operating a little more transparency, because that's what other folks do. I've seen it. When they get down and start talking about business, it's just like, this the play. Here's what we want to do. You got money on the table. I got money on the table. Let's roll.
Yeah. So I think the library thing you said was one, we don't teach each other about resources and research before participation. Most people that I speak to don't have Libby, Libby, on their phone as an app. So they don't have Libby. So they really can't carry. So if you got a DC library card and it gives you a number and you put that number in Libby, now you can read 15 books that are in your library, see all the books that are in the DC library, magazines on that Libby app. We don't have a relationship to or have an idea why the library system was brought. But we do know that our people were pushed away from being able to read, to write, and to understand. And so that power should drive us to the library to read and to understand those things. But once again, it's knowledge goals. How many books are you going to read a week? How many pieces of, whether it's 2 pages or 3 pages a day, will you sacrifice for putting something in? So I'm interviewing a brother, never knew him, and he talks about the fact that he's a CEO of a publicly traded company, and he's raised $2 billion to solve sickle cell as a disease. And I said, well, tell me why you became a doctor. He said, because my father said, if I put something in that will pay me in my mind and the power of that knowledge, they could never take it out. And I think all of us need, it's nice to have a rhyme. And I love Kendrick Lamar. But the power of understanding what EBITDA is much more. The power of understanding a split is much more. The power of understanding what compound interest is much more. And I think Kendrick wants you to have that too. So I'm not saying they're apart, but I think collectively, when we look at each other, the idea of being a knowledge seeker is a goal every day. To be on a knowledge diet means how much will you feed yourself? Just like you have 8 glasses of water, how many new words and new languages will you put in your mind? And I think those are the things that I hear you sharing when you're talking about a page a day, because it's very important that we have that knowledge. But I love the library. But I think those are, my mom abused me with the library because it was the babysitter. So she knew that she could go get all her shopping. Here's the librarian. Here he is. Make sure he's studying. And then she would take off for an hour. And I never got it. And I finally figured out the librarian was kind of like a safe, non-pedophile oriented location where she could run out. Everybody really couldn't do a lot of talking. I could do some homework, and she could push me into a Black knowledge acquisition situation. And I saw the world through a book. A book will take you anywhere. So I think those are the things that I hear you saying when we think about what books and knowledge. I've written 7 books, but I'm getting ready to write 4 this year so that I can move forward. One of the titles of the books this year is Yesterday is Not Today, because our community clearly needs not to live financially, emotionally, and health-wise in yesterday. You've got to know your numbers of your body. You've got to understand where your body is, got to understand where your mind is, and have a goal for every single one of those three priorities for us as a nation. And we've got to see it as a nation. There's no reason why Black people lead in amputations in this country. Like, we really don't see it, but it's real. We don't think about it, but it's real. And it's the suffering of our people because it's not top of mind as a goal to reduce amputations, consumption of sugar, consumption of salt as a people. Like, it's a dry January, we need a no salt year so that you can literally see what it is to reduce stress and strain on our body. But I'm just hanging out, man. I missed you. I said, let me reach out to this hustler and figure out what he's hustling on. You still got some of those hoodies on your website?
Yeah, we gotta. Man, I gotta tell you what. Rui asked me about the same thing, and I think when he asked me, I think we finally restocked, but through the holidays and stuff like that, it kind of got backed up, and to be part of what we're doing right now is working with some drop distribution and drop shipment type of deal to where we can kind of like take some of that off our hands. Now that maybe kind of lower the bottom line in terms of the merch side of the merch vertical, but it frees up, one of our partners more time to kind of get to the business, because literally he was in there printing all the shirts down on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. And God bless you, Chuck, brother. We appreciate you. Lord knows we do, because you're doing doing the Lord's work down there. But we got to feel more time, because eventually we're gonna make more money on the back end. We can scale the brand a bit better and kind of get more partnerships and collaborations that make sense for the brand. But yeah, but to your question, yes, we should have them on there. Whatever's up there, if it doesn't say sold out, you should be good to go. But I need to get your address. We could just send you something, though, to be honest. It's all good. We'll send you something.
Like I appreciate that, bro, but that's not real for me. Like that's Steph. That's Steph. God knows what's in my pocket. That's Steph. I appreciate it. But if I was gonna ask something, I said, read this. You're the lawyer. Read this, bro. You got a lot more skills that I need than versus, yes, I did buy one. See, sometimes I want to buy one so I can wear one and I can make sure that my behavior as it relates to buying something from somebody, not that I'm not in a position where somebody would love me and here it is, but you just say, I did it because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to spend my money in my community. If I can't,
that's right,
then I'm gonna always rob my brother. That's way the wrong goal. So appreciate it, but I do want to take my dollars and share them with my brother and respect his brand and have his system work, and then receive my product and believe and share that I did it. Versus, yeah, he sent me one, I appreciate it. Now I know he sent me one. He buy me lunch. I ain't worried about that. If I gotta worry about eating lunch with you or paying or sweaty a hoodie, I'm not thinking about it, bro. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna not show up.
Not even. Yeah, I feel you. Hey, look, when I'm in Atlanta next, though, man, I know last time I've been in Atlanta a couple of times, but I gotta get with you though. Next time I come to Atlanta, we got to really do some lunch, and sit down and really break bread together. Because somehow breaking bread with somebody that kind of like, establishes the real, concentrates, if you will, the real relationship. So one of these days when I'm back down there, I know I'll be in Charlotte pretty soon. If folks, by the way, y'all, just want to do a quick shout out. I'm not sure when it's going to be put out, but we're going to be down in Charlotte doing the Charlotte Invitational. Some of the top high school basketball players, Black No Chasers, we've been contracted to kind of get down there and do some of the production work. So that's been fantastic. And so y'all be on the lookout for that. And I'm trying to figure out what's up and coming. Y'all stay tuned. I don't want to. There's a couple more things I could say, but my partner might kill me because they ain't really contracted out yet. But once they get contracted, we come back here. We can do it again. But I do appreciate.
Now, I appreciate you. I live between Atlanta and Chicago, so most of the time I'm in Chicago. Our company is so you should really, if you don't have an office, then you should consider our office your office when you rolling through the city.
Okay, yeah, most definitely. I do appreciate that. I didn't know you were in Chicago, so that's good too. When I'm in Chicago, then I got some boys with the FAMU out there that that's in Chicago, born and raised. As a matter of fact, one of my partners, Marcus, he's from Chicago. He lives on the West Coast now, but he's from Chicago. And so, love me some Chicago folks, man. Y'all good people, man. Y'all all right with me. 773.
All right, you got it, brother. I appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Munson Steve. I'm hanging out with my brother Cirilo from Black with No Chaser. Follow him, support him. He's the best of a generation of Black people, persons, and leaders. But more than anything, he's a dedicated change agent to make the life of Black people here in America and around the world better. It's what we believe at Rolling Out. It's why we're talking to him today. He is a phenomenal brother. I believe in all that he's doing because he wants to make a difference, but not just himself, but for all of us. Peace, my brother, and I appreciate you.
Peace out. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, Munson.